Because before that trip, I was like looking for a place for us to stay, and there was nothing.
Yeah, here's like Chitose Airport, I've been there some of them, but I'm pretty sure this is the best one.
Suppose an impenetrable town to navigate also.
What is it? I can't wait.
But we've got a lot of experience, like people that are coming with us.
There's a line here. From there to here.
I'm sure Carolyn has a plan. She's not like
Yeah, she's on top
travel
of it.
master.
Trying to figure out how to launch my
China, Australia,
database
everywhere.
without the stuff on the side. Like, I don't know if I did it.
Like everyone.
But did you go to help?
We're going here.
No.
Health leads you through it very well.
No, I Googled it and
Yeah.
then
All you like
went
for 2
through
weeks,
it.
and she goes on these for a month. and
it's
I'm
like,
what
you
the
go to the
heck?
options like
What's
we did
going
for
on?
the other thing, go to current database.
Yes, you're done.
Okay.
That's all there is to it.
I wasn't sure if it was right or
I
not.
think they
Did you make yours look cool?
before they came here? Like, 'cause
Yeah,
she had to go
I
Red
back.
and black.
It was really
Like,
hard
she didn't get
to
accepted right away. So
to,
she was
like,
kind of,
Yeah, it was
work
just
my
going
way
there,
around the
doing
switchboard, like,
Yeah,
for editing
It
it.
took me
Like,
like
have, like,
30,
any,
45 minutes to
Actually,
get
yeah.
it
I'm not
to
surprised.
where like the spacing was right and all the little colors and stuff. You make the background a certain color and then you screw up the footer. And
I know, I just like, I changed some colors, but
I figured out if you go up and do the alternating colors though, if you turn that off, it doesn't mess with your lines.
really?
That's what was happening with mine.
Yeah, I was like, why can't I like decide how big I want all this stuff?
Right,
Like, why
yeah.
does it have to be right
you
there?
get that figured out.
I see you started your computer at $15,000.
It's
Very
a
well
little bit
bit
less, but 7 a.m.
I think
Tedious,
Didn't
very
even
tedious.
know
Yeah,
what the
with
assignment
a
was,
little
and I did it in
more
6 hours.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm gonna sit there and shock you.
It was
Oh, I'm
pretty
sure
good.
you can.
It was due
Not
today
so
by
sure.
2 a.m. because that's
Yeah.
midnight
Very
Pacific time.
comfortable.
And you sit
I
there
think it
like
would be
a,
way more simple than
Oh,
what
so it's
we're
an
doing.
online class.
and you sit there
Yeah,
like
I have
a
okay.
fun.
Thank God, because I would.
Yeah, I already
done
like
like
today at work I was
6
like,
hours straight this morning, and then I had some discussion responses,
Pickle.
and then I had to finish up this project.
they're like,
Oh,
I wanna
that
take-
is
I wanna
cool.
take
Man.
that class.
So-
You don't have access, right? Do you have a
No.
computer at home that has access?
Mm-mm. But I just found out that it's actually part of the Office suite that you can get if you're a student at UMass.
Yeah.
For like $10,
What?
you can get it all. Yeah,
What?
which is why I was like, what the hell? Like, because I thought Access was like $100 on its own.
Yeah, that's how I got it.
Yeah, you can get it super cheap.
Teachers.
How do you do that?
Yep.
I got you got the link? I got the link.
It's
somewhere.
It's just a
temporary.
link, and you put in your student
Yeah.
income, and then
Right.
you get a discount.
You can
I
get
really
this
need that.
same discount being military.
Yeah.
So it's
I
actually-
the same.
tried doing that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't find it.
I
I
think
just
it's
need the
on,
link, I guess.
I think it's on the portal.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
I
That's
never
what I
had a
went.
portal for my home computer, but
Are you guys
I'll
packing
just
pretty
do it at
light?
work.
I'm just gonna bring up one pair of clothes.
I don't know, I'm really,
I just usually bring like one backpack.
Yeah,
like,
that's
everywhere. I
normally
go.
what I try.
Even international, like if I'm going to the States, it's like I've got 3 pairs of pants, like 3 pairs of socks, 3 pairs of this, and it's all like packed super like that, you know.
Yeah.
nope, that's not me. I'm like, I'm gonna bring everything I
Happy
own,
with
like,
Well,
even if I'm not gonna do it.
I get why you would want to do that, but after a 14-hour flight, I do not want to stand in like customs and the carry bags.
Oh yeah, still do it.
So
it.
much,
That's
yeah.
my longer stays.
Extra
It's
set.
I might
just
need
a
it.
weekend.
Anything I might need.
We went to Osan and I brought like a suitcase, like,
7 suitcases.
only like from here down inside of this shit. But we were there for like 2 weeks, so.
Well, that makes a lot of sense then. They have some crazy trips over in Korea. You can get like a month stay at the Korean hotel. I think it was Onsan, it's the Dragon Hall.
Dragon Hill
Yongsan,
Lodge,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yongsan.
That's where we stayed.
Yeah. Did you like
It was
it?
like
Yeah.
$70. It was really nice.
It's really nice.
They had a $1,000 plan. You could stay there for literally, it was like more than a month. It was like 40 days and 40 nights
Yeah, I
or
saw
something like
that.
that. I was like, who has that much time? to, like,
Yeah.
Just go party
I
for
know,
40
it's
nights.
like,
Like,
could spend all my leave just to stay at the hotel in Korea.
but Korea was fun though. I really liked it.
I love Korea.
Yeah, we're going
Their
back
food
in
there is so good.
April. Yeah, their food is,
Nice.
That's a nice month in Korea.
yeah.
We didn't eat any Korean food.
Really?
We were
No,
there
did you stay in Itaewon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't just stay in Itaewon, but yeah, we were
just
like,
there like all the time, just finding places to eat.
did you go to that pancake place, the original pancake?
No, we didn't. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Should have. It was amazing.
Was it good?
Yeah.
It's like
really
an
good.
American chain, isn't it? The original pancake house?
Yeah, but I think it's a southern/eastern thing because where I'm from in California, I'd never heard of it.
Oh, I'm from the southeast. I've never seen one. Or wait, yes I have. That's why I just brought it up. The original classic.
Is House, like original Pancake House, or
Oh, no,
something like that.
never mind. Yeah.
But yeah, it was like pizza and like burgers, like we were like not
Oh,
eating
yeah.
any Korean food. I don't know.
We ate a lot of like barbecue.
We ate some
just-
bulgogi Philly cheesesteaks. They were so good.
Bulgogi or Kogogi? Which one is?
Bulgogi.
Kogogi is the right.
I'm not sure what it is.
One of
With
them's
like
dog.
dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, that's probably
Yeah,
dog.
that's
Bulgogi
probably-
is
It's just
like
beef.
just beef.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beef or beef.
Did you guys do the DMZ? Demilitarized zone?
We didn't go
Right up
there.
in North Korea. It was kind of not very interesting.
Really?
honestly. Yeah.
Yeah, everybody's like hiking it up and but we just never made it. We didn't even go to Seoul Tower or anything.
Really?
We
We
had
were
like
already
a friend
hiking
who lives
around
there,
the
so
whole
we kind of like
country.
visited him and we just did like random stuff. Basically.
That's what I like to do. Like when I don't like to have a plan. It's just,
Yeah.
let's just go in the city. And
We're
just
not
walk
really
around.
touristy people, really. We're not touristy stuff.
We just like to eat.
Yeah, we just like to eat. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
We need to party with you guys. Because that's
So you go for next
class.
class.
That's like our
literally
main goal
all
whenever we
we
just
do.
go somewhere, just look for
Two
good
and a half
food.
hour video.
We're at breakfast and you're talking about where to go for lunch.
Yeah, pretty
like,
much.
Oh, no.
hang out in this area so we can go here for lunch.
Yeah, no, that's exactly. We mark how we go around different countries or cities, like, based on the food. It's 100% accurate.
I mean, it's a valid thing. Like, would you rather have seen something or like ate something
Yeah,
wonderful? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
it's a
we're
permanent.
so limited here, like in the South, like for food choices, we're like,
Yeah, exactly. You come back and it's like, oh, you've got capra, cheese roll, and you know,
yeah.
all like the big basics.
And all
Did you ever get food poisoning on one of your travels?
Oh no.
Oh.
That sounds
You
awful.
don't want to.
Wait, I don't think we've gone to a country like where the water is not clean enough. If you're talking about water, where
Water or food, you can come from
Yeah.
anywhere, hygiene. It's totally.
Where were you?
I was in Philippines, I got mine.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
What part?
That particular one was up in the northern farmland around Alaminos.
Did you get sick when you went to the Philippines?
Well, I was in a private house even, and the guy was actually my brother-in-law. I think he didn't like me. He did the cooking that day. I
Maybe
was the only one that got sick.
You didn't wash your vegetables.
Yeah, I still have my suspicions about that. I do.
It
Yeah.
happened.
They say it's just you weren't used to that dish, yeah.
You've never been used to that too, when he's cooking.
Yeah?
But there's geographic parasites, right? Because in Mexico, what do they call it? Montezuma's
Montezuma's
revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe
Are
it.
you serious?
Believe it. Oh, yeah, that's what they call it, dysentery.
Mhm.
It wipes you out maybe 3 days to 3 weeks. You're totally miserable.
Yeah. You went from the bed to the toilet. for
Yeah,
sure.
if you don't drink water.
That's chlorine.
Oh,
Chlor-
yeah, call it,
You can't keep it in,
Cholera?
dysentery. Cholera. Yeah, of course, the natives, they're immune to it, so it's nothing to them, just like us.
Yeah.
We've got ours.
You like to listen for that?
Nope. Was my rush. Was my rush.
Probably listen.
Okay. You can send it on the revenue too. Did you get your 14 revenue? Good, so. Cheers,
Who's that?
cold.
Jordan G, Jordan H, you want to set a password in your system?
Do I want to?
Yeah, put it in front also.
Of course.
Okay, we'll try to do that, sort of a password.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Keep your
Oh,
coworkers.
passwords to make changes?
Yeah.
No, just to, keep your coworkers away when you're at lunch.
How are you guys both so thin? I see her rolling up in here with like all the bags every
You
day.
don't wanna see our cabinet. You don't wanna see our cabinet.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Later. can do.
Be safe.
So 3 minutes, and those of us that are here. Hi, Yano.
Hi. Is this taken?
You can throw that at the window if you don't want to sit with it.
Hi.
I know, I know, what to say.
Actually, we have.
I apologize. So 2 minutes and get out. Yes, please. Thanks for asking. Don't hit me. So you can minimize that screen if it's troublesome. Anybody else wants to preload the computer? Hi, Jeff.
It's on, it's on.
Well, no. Yes, go on, go on. Yes.
I will try
Okay,
it that
okay,
way.
okay. It's all right. I can handle this. So 30 seconds and we'll upstart. So if you're busy with some other activity, could I get you to come to the stopping spot? So welcome to our, I think, first full week without a extra class, or we missed one last time too. Okay, so the announcements are that next class I will pass out test 2, blank, for you to take home and do with what you want. And then when we come in on next Monday, we'll take it for real. So it is recorded that we will do 10 questions on chapter 9 today. All in favor?
Recording or doing it?
We will be doing it. All raise your hand if you have your 10 questions on chapter 9.
Chapter 7.
Chapter what?
7.
Today's 7.
Confused.
Got that one on chapter 9.
Oh,
Is 9 tomorrow? Or
What are you doing, 8 next?
Raise your hand if you have 10 questions on chapter 7. Notice I did not raise my hand. I have 10 questions on chapter 9. I need help. Everybody knows that. Okay, so that's something that we will do today. And our next chapter will be chapter 8. This is hard for me. 8 comes after 7 and I'm working on it. And we will do 10 questions on chapter 8 for the next class. Okay? And then for next Monday, we will do chapter 9. 10 questions. And I'm well prepared for that one. And we will take one test a week on out. This is week 5. And week 6, we'll take test 2. test two next week. Test two.
How many tests do we have?
Then week 7, we will take test, and week 8, we will take, so there's gonna be 1 test a week on out. This week is detestable. So, that's the way that works. So, the tests are not taxing except for the amount of tedious hours that you have to put in. So we'll finish off with 3 of these. Now, next week I'll introduce our next project, which has to do with you being programmers. Not Microsoft Access programmers, who are not really programmers, because you're only working with the interface, not the actual program code itself. But for the next project, you will actually be working with the program code. So since today is the final due date for Microsoft Access projects, then that means we're free to start our second project next class. But I have a special item for you for next class also. So to prepare you for that item, could we momentarily go to page 359? To introduce you to what's on this page 359, and this is such a pleasure, because in the Math 103 class, there's a student that every time would right now say, what page was that? So I got into the habit of writing it on the board in big letters. Go ahead, Mike, what page was that? 359. And when you send sensitive information over the internet, it's often encrypted, agreed? Encrypted? Do you know what encryption means? I don't know. Coded. Encoded. In other words, the letters are changed. So I'm going to show you a very simple encryption code right now. Suppose you want to send this message on the internet. Now, in order to understand this, we have to be familiar with this. If you're seeing this for the first time, just try to catch on. And suppose that you wanted to send my name is. Now that's very sensitive information, so you don't want to send it out like that, you want to encrypt it. So to encrypt it, you first need an encryption key. So the encryption key is sometimes a 20-digit number. But I'm going to make it simple, I'm just going to make it a 2-digit number. And I'm going to show you the encryption scheme that you're using, which is called alphabet forward. First thing you do is you write the key under the entire message. And you see that if this key is 20 digits long, you just write 20 digits and you repeat it and you repeat it. Now to encode it, I go to the letter M in the alphabet and I forward 3. So this becomes a P. What does the Y become?
A.
1, 2, 3. It's hard, Jeff, but stay with it.
1, 2, 3 is A.
The Y has a 4 under it. It's hard. Okay, now there's a space here. So for the space, you have to go forward 3. And the alphabet cycles second time. So this becomes a C, agreed? And what does the N become? Just Jeff.
R.
Okay, anybody, the A?
E.
E. Okay, so now this is the way that you encrypt the entire message. And this is what you send. So if somebody sniffs on the wire and picks it up, they can't untangle it unless they have the key. This is the key. Now, the trouble is that the person at the other end that you send a message to also can't make sense of it unless you send them the key. So you send him the key, then he can decipher the message. This is known as the symmetric key, that you use the same key to encode the message as you use to decode it. Because once you have the 3, 4, it's easy just to alphabet backwards, true? Not a problem for most people. And the only trouble is that once you send the key over the wires, then the bad guy can pick up the key as well, agreed? So this is called symmetric key, the same key is used. So there is now an asymmetric type of encryption, asymmetric keys, where a different key is used to decode it than was used to encode it. Asymmetric keys. So if you publicize the code that you use to encode it, it doesn't do the bad guy any good because it takes a different code to decode it, a different key. So you say, arithmetically, how can that happen? How can it be that if you know the key that was used to code it, you cannot use the same key to decode it? You can't. But there is another key that will decode it. And this scheme of 2 different keys, one used to encode it, which is called the public key, the other one used to decode it, which is kept a secret, the private key, is the standard mode of encryption on the internet now. And you've all used it hundreds of times. Whenever you get a digital signature, for example, you're using public key encryption. So can everybody please read through page 359, sort of to themselves. The 2 most common types of encryption are private key encryption and public key encryption. Now, the first paragraph deals with the symmetric type. It's the uninteresting type, but it's a type you use yourself if you personally encrypt your hard drive or USB, because of course you are the encoder and decoder, same person. So you can easily keep that done with one key. So the first paragraph is not really interesting. Second paragraph, go ahead, read on to it, deals with public key encryption. So you're on that page there, Shoko, page 359. Well, you don't have the entire textbook, so not your fault. You expected me to do what I said I was going to do. That is your fault, though. Yes, sir.
Yes, in the paragraph it says that the private key and the public key are related mathematically. Is this talking about algorithms?
It sure is. How'd you know that?
I just guessed. It sounds like it makes sense. I don't know.
Right. Did you see the title of the video I'm requiring you to watch?
No.
Okay, everybody read their email from me. Yes, ma'am. Well, no, you have to click it to go there. Question, Ayano? Yeah, I thought you had a question. Okay, good. Okay, now, Gene has put his finger on exactly the phrase. The 2 asymmetric keys that are used for public key encryption are mathematically related. And most books at this level say the mathematics is above the level of this course. It's not. You guys can handle it, and you will handle it. Because on Wednesday I'm going to show you the mathematics that relates the public key to the private key. Not only am I going to show it to you, then I'm going to turn off the movie and you guys are going to do it. So I presented this mathematics in what we call UMUC Presents. They used to be really good because they supply you with pizza, but now it's peanut butter crackers. But the enrollments are up, so good days might come back. Went through about a 2.5-hour seminar on how the mathematics works, which is really elongated. You can pick it up in the correct 20 minutes if you can find it, how it works. So I'm requiring you to watch that presentation. So the next 48 hours, you can just kiss goodbye to 2+ hours when you watch that. Because when we come in on Wednesday, then you guys are going to actually do it. Now, when you come in on Wednesday, I'll play the video, at least some of it, again to refresh you. And then we'll break into 2 teams, a sending team and a receiving team, the sending team will encode the message and encrypt it, and the receiving team will decrypt it. So this will be our experience for Wednesday. Okay? We're focusing on public key encryption. So I wanted to get that out on the table. Okay, so today we will look at the finished access programs. And you guys are starting to feel already that there are people around you that would like to use something that you can do now. You have a skill that would be appreciated by people you work with. You can make these little databases for birthdays, going away parties and things like that, or whatever you want to make a little database for in the area that you work. And people will ooh and ah and bow down, and you'll feel better. And so it's a useful skill. So you can say that, yeah, I learned to do something. And I will show you tonight how to make your program come up on only the switchboard, so it's user-friendly, and all that technical stuff is not exposed to the user, and it stays to be your secret. And then I'll show you how to get back into that technical stuff in case you're called in. For some reason the database doesn't work like it should. So we'll finish that up. Also, I'll show you how to put a password on the front of it if you want to keep your coworkers from messing it up when you're not around. And then it's all done. But that's just a little bit of cherries on the icing. You guys already have finished product, and we'll put them out there tonight. Now, in the rare case that one of your databases is not really finished, we can perhaps find a few moments on Wednesday for you to show and tell. So that'll be our agenda for tonight, the things that we're going to do. So any comments, remarks, suggestions? So chapter 8 is for Wednesday, 10 questions. So let's proceed to chapter 7. And as usual, we must have Jordan Green get us started with the first question.
Great idea.
Thank you. Oh, by the way, Jordan doesn't like to talk much, and maybe some of you sort of picked that up. In fact, he's actually said so, which was rare for him to say that much. But a few nights ago, Jordan went down to a club outside the gate, and he saw a lady that he liked. So he approached her, and he says, "I'm a man of few words. Will you or won't you?"
Then my wife slapped me, and I went home.
So she said, "My place or your place?" Jordan said, "Well, if you're going to talk about it all night, forget it."
So he followed me that night.
Sorry, I didn't know you were actually married. I wouldn't have,
I am.
I wouldn't have touched that.
That's okay.
Okay, so anyway, Jordan, your first question.
Alrighty. Jordan H.
So,
What is a microwave station?
microwave station is
Station of microwave.
Yeah.
it's a room full of microwaves. No,
Anyway,
Everybody goes there to microwave.
You deserve. Go.
it is a station where microwave waves are beamed to other microwave stations or satellites to send and receive data.
Okay. Can I add on a follow-on question? Jordan H., what's the transmission range of a microwave transmission?
About 30.
About 30 what? Miles. Okay. Why can't they transmit farther?
Because there's stuff in the way, like
Yeah.
mountains and.
No. This is an astronomy question, so I will change hats. And okay, Ayano. Shoko, you took astronomy. What's that? It's the Earth. It's the Earth. Now, if you send out a signal right here, you send out a signal, And there's, now these electromagnetic signals, they can only go line of sight. They can't curve. So the signal goes in straight directions, like this and this and this. Now, what happens if you want to send a signal to be received, say, here? Unfortunately, the signal can't bend, so it can't be received over there.
Satellite.
So what you do is you put a microwave relay station right here, which picks up this signal and changes its direction to be parallel to the new Earth, and another relay station. And the curvature of the Earth is such that, given the height of the tower, you need a new tower every 30 miles to pick up the signal and angle it back down to the surface of the Earth and send it another 30 miles. Now, another way to alleviate this is to put a satellite up here and send the signal on one direct bounce to your receiving stations, radio transmission. Okay, George H., your turn.
Jeff, what is geocaching?
Oh,
That's good, that's a good question. Jeff, without looking it up.
I have no idea.
oh,
So,
it's where you get on this website and then they have like all these coordinates.
A little
And-
louder for the camera.
So you go on this website and, then, and they have like all these coordinates and then you follow them and people leave stuff there and then you go to the cache spot, or I forgot what it's called, and then you like look for it around that area in the coordinates and then you leave something else and then you leave another same coordination. Yeah, kind of like that. Is that
Okay.
right?
Why is cache called cache? It's a French word, and it means a little place where you store things.
Oh, really?
Yes, that's why you took this course. Sierra, your turn.
Oh, okay.
So you have disk cache and memory cache. Thanks.
My brother found one of those ones by accident.
Really?
Yeah. We were up in the mountains four-wheeling and came across it.
That's pretty
Kind of
cool.
weird.
Did y'all leave anything?
We opened it and read what was in there and then put some more stuff in it and put it back.
That's pretty cool.
I'm not gonna ask what more stuff you put in there.
I think we put a beer or something in there, I don't know.
Okay, Sierra.
Michael?
She likes the name.
That's a good name, I agree. What is the first widely used version of IP called?
Internet protocol, the first version of.
It was like kind of a obscure question. I'm gonna ask a different.
Without turning pages, sir.
Without turning pages,
Yeah.
but that's not gonna help me.
How'd you get a real book?
Bought it.
How'd you get a real one? I don't
IP.
know the answer to that one.
Well,
That's
anybody,
alright.
Jay knows.
You wanna?
It's TCP or Transmission Control Protocol.
No,
That's the
not-
current one.
That's not,
Current.
IEEE.
no. It's before it.
Sierra, you're gonna have to tell us the answer.
Yeah, I don't know what.
Really?
what it is.
Yes.
It's a IP version 4. Is it IPv4?
IPv4.
Does that sound right?
My memory agrees. IPv4. You stumped the class. You get to go again.
It's 6 now
Wow.
somewhere.
You win. Game over.
Yeah, you win, we're
Oh,
done.
there it is.
Yep, we're done.
Going home.
Anyways.
Let me see.
Hit me again,
Alright,
alright?
okay, what wired network pair has been in use the longest and is the least expensive?
What type of medium?
What wire?
The pairs right there.
Yeah, what
What
wired-
medium connection?
Yeah, we'll go with that. Wired networking media.
Yeah.
Ether,
Twisted pair.
hello, lane,
Twisted
Close.
pair. Twisted pair.
twisted,
Twisted pair.
Yeah,
twisted pair.
I'll take it. That's good.
Twisted pair. Okay, now what is a twisted pair? If you break open this network cable and it's still twisted pair, you'll see two single wires that are twisted around each other. And it's the same as the telephone lines are. Now, if you want to send two lines down a cable, why do you twist them around each other?
They don't,
Reduce our-
they're.
It reduces interference, they don't interfere with each other if you do twisting. So, twisted pair, wiring was already in the buildings, because telephones were already in the buildings. So if you start to put in an internet for the very first time, I remember, then what makes more sense, to rewire the whole building or to use the wires that are there? So they start with twisted pair, so that's why twisted pair media was the first used. And now I'm gonna ask you another question. What is another type of media that you can use after twisted pair?
Fiber.
Hmm?
Fiber.
Fiber's at the other end.
Coaxial.
Coaxial cable.
Did I say that?
Now, Michael, can you describe coaxial cable physically?
It also has one wire running through the center and several others wrapped around it.
That's wrong.
Right?
It has one wire through the center,
I got that
and then
part
it has
right.
some insulation, and
Insulation.
it has a cylindrical can on the outside.
That's not wire, it looks like wire when you cut one open.
Yeah,
It's like
ground
copper.
wire.
Three, yeah,
It's ground wire.
I understand.
Ground wire.
All right,
Ground
now,
water.
which gives the cleaner signal? Twisted pair or coax cable?
Coax.
Coax
Yeah.
cable gives a cleaner signal. That's good. It's okay, now,
Um,
Michael, you get, the fiber's top of the line. Fiber, you get, Michael, you get to go now.
Right.
Now spread it around, pick some
Who am I?
unused people.
Suzuki-san.
Who's he asking?
Who am I? Suzuki-san.
Suzuki-san, all right,
Hi. That's me.
I know.
That's who you are.
What is the newest and fastest type of wired transmission media?
It's not twisted pair, it's not coaxial.
I love
Oh,
it.
Shoko, break it open, your question.
Very easy one. I understand.
That means if you can't answer, you should feel terrible.
Oh, exactly. What GPS stands for?
What does what stand for?
GPS.
GPS.
GPS stand for pick a person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, they set this up.
yeah, Deb.
That's actually.
Because they're out in the hallway.
Without your notes,
Oh, really?
yes. You know it in Japanese?
Japanese?
Yeah. No, they use the same words in Japanese. GPS. Yeah, some people don't think there are words, it's just been GPS for their whole life, that's it.
Geographic.
Is anybody else? Okay, Georgie,
Maybe I.
Global positioning system.
global positioning system. Georgie, your turn again.
Okie dokie. Gene,
Yes.
there are 3 types of mobile phones. What are they?
Whoa, the flip top.
3 types of mobile phones. So you've got cellular phones, dual mode phones, and satellite phones.
Oh.
Yeah.
Could you describe the differentiations?
Dual mode, it can use 2 different types. It can use Wi-Fi, it can use satellite, it can use 2 different together. And when you're cutting off one signal, it can switch to the other. So
Ooh, wow,
Or use the cheaper one?
cellular
It's the good one.
Yeah.
just the towers.
is the towers and satellite uses satellites.
Yep.
Sounds alright.
Awesome, dude, your turn.
Okay. Let's see here. Where's Jordan in the front. What are the 3 most common physical topologies for networks?
Ooh, love this one. I think I did them on the board once too.
Man, I've read this.
Topologies means geometry of the wires. Geometry of the wires, never mind protocols of signals, just how are the wires laid out?
Oh, the mesh, bus,
Yeah.
and star.
No, you're leaving one out, because it's not so popular anymore.
He asked for 3.
So the star is here, and, the bus is the most popular. And, the ring is,
Ring?
Your turn again.
Let me see.
Sierra, if one device in a mesh network fails, will the network still function?
In a mesh network?
That's this
Yes.
one.
Yes, it will, depending on the circumstances of, well, the whole thing will still function?
Will anything still function? Or will
Oh,
it all
yes,
go
yes,
down?
things will still go on, yes.
What will continue to function?
Everything not connected directly
Exactly,
to that.
exactly. So it's a great advantage. Good answer, your turn again. You guys have paid your dues, done your homework.
Ayano. What are two benefits of telecommuting?
Commuting, okay. Advantages.
You don't have to dress.
Yeah.
No pay.
You can chew gum.
Yeah, like anywhere, like physically location doesn't matter for the telecommunication, and then
First, Ayana, what is telecommuting?
the commuting is using like video or like through the internet, you can communicate.
Did you read the check?
Yeah, but I can't really explain. Like
You're missing a key word, a four-letter word. Work. Yeah, we're gonna pass this one around. Shoko, you know what telecommuting is? First, commuting means going back and forth to work. Commuting to work. Telecommunicating means that you do this commuting to work using a telecommunications connection. Jordan G, can you tell us what telecommuting is?
I don't know what we're looking for.
Wow, that's one of the most easiest, most obvious. Manuel, can you tell us what telecommuting is?
Working in a different location than your primary spot.
Office location.
Office location.
Does it usually mean working at home?
Yep.
Yes.
Working at
No.
home with a connection.
Connection.
Okay, now, the question was to name two advantages. Anybody?
Cuts down traffic pollution.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that was one of the-
Environmental.
Pollution,
And then
environmental,
work resources like parking spots and.
parking spots.
Yeah.
What about,
Work
saves
hours.
commute time?
Yep.
Saves commute time?
Safety,
Hmm?
safety.
Yeah, you can name your own hours too. Some flexibility on hours,
Not much.
okay?
Wanna tell
No
commute.
pants again.
No pants.
Okay, now, can anyone name some disadvantages? Well, first, an advantage is no office mates also.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to.
Now, can anyone name some disadvantages?
Can't be late.
Hmm?
Remember, you have to be on time.
Connection fails.
Yeah.
Connection
yeah.
fails and you have trouble. Okay, now, one of the biggest disadvantages turned out to be no office mates. People miss the socializing.
Can't work with people.
Yeah, well, some can, but they missed the socializing. and-
Really?
Yeah, they missed it. That's part of their existence that they didn't realize that was necessary to them. And maybe all of us are a little bit the same way. Daily dose of gossip, sharing your troubles, what's going on, the sociability that exists in the workplace, it turned out to be missed. And, of course, there was the fear in the beginning that they would not work as many hours because they're not being supervised, nobody's watching them.
Right.
Just to,
Well,
I guess you gave that one away. Just turn the computer
Makes
off and go shopping or something, right? But it turned out that the opposite was true. They couldn't stop working. Now, when you work in a company, at 5 o'clock the bell rings and what do? Go home. At home, you're already home. You say, I'm not gonna stop, I'm into this. So they just couldn't stop working. It's one of the negatives on it. So what have the companies come up with as a solution?
They close the servers past a certain time or something?
No, it's called a halfway house. What they do is they rent some office space at a nearby shopping mall or something like that, that has good parking, it's easy to get to, and they'll have all of their telecommuting workers that live within a few miles of that go in there, if not for a whole day, at least a half a day. And they use that for a semi-working space. Smaller groups of people spread throughout the region. They don't all have to drive to the downtown office. So they have these isolated spots of office out there. So who was it that actually answered that? Was that you, Mike, again? Yeah.
Yep. It was.
Mike, your turn again.
Really?
How come nobody's asking Jeff anything?
Which one's Jeff?
That's why, okay, go ahead.
Thanks, Maurice.
What am I, Jeff? A collection of computers and other hardware devices connected together so that network users can share hardware, software, and data, as well as communicate with each other electronically.
Secure network. A network.
What type of network did you say? First answer? What was your first answer?
A
Just said
network.
network.
That was the first
A
one.
network, a global network,
Could you put something in front of network?
Fiber? Wire?
WAN network,
Wire?
area network,
Line server?
Computer network.
computer network.
Computer network.
Oh,
Yeah, bro.
Network's on there.
Jesus.
It was in the book.
I was sort of a shared answer, but let's give Jeff a turn.
Oh,
Pick your
okay.
poison.
Jordan in the back. What is the difference between RJ45 and RJ11? And how can you differentiate them visually?
Got it, man. One's 45 and one's 11. Can't come at me with that stuff.
Sierra, you know the answer to this thing?
I do.
That's
It was
awesome.
one of my questions.
That's
It-
awesome.
It's one is isn't it a phone and one's a network?
Standards, are they standards?
Yes. And one is bigger than the other.
The connectors, what are they?
They're connectors. They're
They're
cables.
connectors.
Yeah, they're
Right.
connectors that have cables and you plug in the wall. And you got a phone one or an Ethernet or the internet one because it's bigger than the phone one.
Yeah, we could pull it out of here and you showed it. Okay, so the old-fashioned laptops, they would have two plugs, one for the network, one for the phone line, for dial-ups, and one was slightly smaller. Yours probably still does. No, not anymore. Okay, very good question.
Good answer.
Okay, Sierra, again.
Thank you.
Dang, you're welcome. All right. Jordan G. What is the largest computer network in the world?
Geographic.
The largest computer network in the world.
It's too easy, too obvious.
World.
It's internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your turn, Georgie. Okay, I got one for the class.
Go ahead. Accent question.
What does LAN stand for?
Local area network, what?
Local
LAN,
Local area network.
MAN,
Me.
Metropolitan.
Yeah.
Area network.
and WAN.
Wide area network.
Yeah.
So that was just the warm-up. Now, what is the typical range of an LAN?
Like your
Your
whole
house.
business.
Size,
The cable length, right?
A building.
Like in-
size,
in a
one building, one
School.
building, one building. What is the typical range of a metropolitan area?
A metropolitan.
City or county.
Well, how about a campus,
Yeah.
Campus.
university campus?
Oh.
Now, what about a wide area network?
Multiple campuses.
Continent. Two
Good.
bands.
Okay, now which one would be most likely to use satellite communications?
The bigger
Wide,
one.
Wide.
High, okay? And what would be the communications medium of choice for a metropolitan area network, for example?
Fiber.
Fiber or microwave
Microwave.
is also within range, agreed? And what is the physical medium of choice for a LAN? And there's one coming out the wall.
Ethernet.
Wires,
Wide.
wires, wires. Okay, Jordan G, your turn. We've only asked 8 questions, so I can't say they're asked all mine. I'm counting.
Shoko? What is a star network? Yeah.
Radio wave.
First, is the star network, does it describe the protocol that is used? In other words, the agreed upon signal recognitions for shaking the hand and initiating the conversation? Or does it have to do with the actual physical layout of the wires, called the topology? Right, it's a physical layout of the wires. And your answer, Shoko, is, just point. Point to what I'm pointing to. Yeah, raise your finger. Okay.
You win.
Okay, now Jordan G., would you want to say anything about the actual words you might have expected?
That it's a host network that distributes to other devices.
Right. Now, the architecture is called a master-slave. Sierra, why would the protocol be called a master-slave?
Because,
Yeah, go.
oh, there's like one in the middle telling all the other ones like what to do.
Alpha.
Right,
Alpha
alpha
computer.
male
I didn't go there.
of computer.
Right, and now, so you asked the questions about the mesh network. What happens if one of the mesh computers go down? You say, well, it's just that guy's bad luck. What happens if one of the computers in a star network goes down?
Depends on which one, right?
Yeah, it's only the hub.
What about the peripheral ones?
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't
What about
matter.
the center one?
Did that matter?
That's
Yeah.
really,
Okay, so this is called a master-slave protocol. Good. Okay, Shoko, you answered that one very well. So your answer. Jeff.
Bandwidth is also called what?
What?
Bandwidth,
Bandwidth is also called
what?
what? Synonym for bandwidth. George G. would handle this one easily. The width of the pen.
Yep.
Oh, throughput.
oh, that's right.
Well done, Jeff. I was
Right,
thinking,
what?
I like that,
Still works.
throughput. Well done, dude.
Ayana,
Yes.
what is the difference between internet and intranet?
Aye.
Once again, please.
What's the difference between internet and intranet?
Intranet and internet.
They're spelled different.
Yep. Maybe.
Got it.
Okay, now Jordan G. simply says the difference is an A.
Wait, isn't there
Or
an E?
something. Oh, there's an R.
One's intro.
Okay, and your answer, Yano.
Yes. Internet is-
Well, first, is Leo an internet or intranet? Leo is what, Gene?
Intra?
Intra. So, do you know these differences? And this is useful.
Just number five.
No, turning pages. Anybody? Gene,
Internet's like a closed network.
closed.
Right.
You have to be a member, right? Have to be a member. And internet is public, true? Do they use the same physical wires?
Yes.
Yes, they do. But one is public. One is private. True? Okay, now, what's an extranet? Extranet. For example, in a large company, you would have an intranet, agreed? Just for information within the company. And Sierra, what's an extranet?
And that's being extra.
Boom.
It's an intranet with a few add-ons.
There you go.
Like you add on a few other companies that you have relations with, you want them to know. So an extranet just has a few extra connections to your internet. And of course, there's some risk once you start, for example, allowing your suppliers access to your intranet, that they might see numbers that you don't want them to see. So sometimes you limit their access. Now, can you please tell me what is the greatest uses in a company of an intranet. Now, this is something that you're going to know because you've already studied chapter 13 on programming languages. And you know that COBOL is a language of the past. So a company has many programs written in COBOL, agreed? And for example, before we had computers, we had the division of the company under 4 vice presidents: manufacturing, marketing and sales, accounting, and human resources. 4 vice presidents. These guys ran their own show. I mean, within their own walls, they were alpha, agreed? And so when the computer came, each one of those 4 vice presidents wanted their own computer, and they got it. And each one of them developed their own programming system, and they did. The only trouble is, could these 4 programming systems talk to each other?
No.
No. And suddenly another company decided they would be more competitive if they allowed their 4 computer systems to talk to each other. So they devised one company-wide computer system. Which held the competitive edge, the new or the old? The new system that didn't have these walls, agreed? The prior company that had these 4 computer systems that could not relate to each other was at a competitive disadvantage. So they had to immediately, as fast as possible, get their computer systems to communicate with each other, which was a technically very difficult job because they're in different platforms, hardware platforms, they're using different programming languages, and to get these programs to talk to each other was a very time-consuming and difficult task to do. But what is one programming language that was understandable by all of the departments was a web page. So what they did was they put all of their information on web pages, and the information could now travel around the company because everyone had access to web pages. They wrote their output in a language called HTML. They put it out on web pages. So the intranet was a band-aid to allow the 4 parts of the company to talk to each other while they were trying to revise the systems into one company-wide system. It was a band-aid, very successful too, as a matter of fact. And it continues to be used throughout the company. Now, one side question is, of these 4 departments, can you name the 4 departments again? Because they're very important to the structure of the company.
Human
Accounting.
resources, accounting, sales and marketing.
HR.
And manufacturing was in there too. Okay, now, every July it comes time for these 4 VPs and everyone else in the company to meet and decide on the budget pie slices for the next year. They've got so much money, who's gonna get it, who's gonna not? Okay, now, which of the 4 always gets the money they ask for?
Marketing,
Marketing and sales and
manufacturing.
manufacturing, because they produce a visible product, agreed?
Yep.
Now, who never gets,
Human resources.
HR.
right, the cinders from the fireplace? HR, right? HR always gets that much. And you say, why? Because you produce a second order, indirect, intangible product. You say, we build morale. We can't sell morale. We can sell cars, agreed? So they get a little bit. What does accounting get? Somewhere in the middle. And so 10 years go by, and which department has never had their programs upgraded?
Human resources.
Well, they never had programs. But accounting never had theirs upgraded because they were continuing to fulfill the minimum amount to run the company, agreed? They did not produce a hard, tangible product. Sure, they were necessary. So that's the way the budget pie always got sliced up among those 4 VPs. Now, their hats are much smaller now because we have a company-wide database, and they don't have the same turf that they used to, but they used to be absolute rulers within their own departments. Good. Side effect. Okay, whose turn? Well, let's make up one. What was the question?
Oh,
Yeah,
extra
and
net.
I tried to answer, but I failed.
Who did successfully answer?
I said it was a closed network.
Well done, Gene, your turn.
You win.
Okay. Jordan in the back.
You guys are picking on me.
You're so popular.
Yeah. You guys are mean.
How,
Wanna hear funny
They're trying to get you to open up.
how do wired and wireless networks differ?
No, don't tell them.
Jesus.
One use a wire, the other one wireless.
I wrote that one just for you.
You were just saying.
You're silly, Gene.
It's perfect, right?
Wow,
It's not
that's-
wrong.
that is the best answer.
He got it.
Boom.
How do they differ in their security aspects?
Wireless is not safe
Why not?
as wired
Can be
because,
hacked. or
Anyone can
intercepted.
grab it.
yeah.
What's war driving?
War driving?
Yeah.
Driving wars.
Right. Okay, now, what is the range of these hotspots on these wireless cafes?
Just the building, usually.
300 yards,
Yeah.
at least 100. So war driving is where you drive in your car outside of them and eavesdrop. Now, if you go down to the hotspot cafe, they have a router, true?
Mhm.
Which is connecting you to their wired network, which goes where you want to go. So you connect wirelessly. Is there any security at all between your laptop and the router?
No.
Well, there is a security button that they can turn on. They can enable it. But most of the managers don't know about it or don't bother. So they don't enable the security devices of their own routers when they put them in. So it's an open transmission. Yeah, basically you're broadcasting. So what's the only thing that you can do to safeguard yourself? Hint, it's what we started the hour with,
Encryption.
encryption. So if you're at a hotspot and you don't encrypt, then you're sharing it with the world. Okay, 300. Okay. Now, let's get to a real technical question that I know that, that Mr. Michael Emanuel knows the answer to. What's a sniffer? A sniffer. Hint, you use it with these green wires. It's a device that if you put it around the wire,
Here.
you
It
can
spies
pick off the
user?
signal from even a wired connection. You can sniff. It's a sniffer. Right, so they're out there too. Okay. That was such an excellent answer,
Alright,
Jordan G. Jordan G, your turn.
My turn? Alrighty. Michael, what is the difference between serial transmission and parallel transmission?
serial transmission happens one behind another, parallel transmission happens several along parallel to each other.
Very well described. Top of the line.
My
Sir, your turn.
Alright. Jeff,
No, it's a hard question because he loves to do this to you.
Who am I?
the GPS network consists of how many satellites
Or
owned by the Department of Defense?
50.
And what are the satellites used for? It's two parts.
1,500
Alright,
and locating stuff,
close, but,
tracking.
alright, location is used in the answer. Anybody else?
It's classified, I can't tell you.
Isn't there only 16 or like 24 satellites?
24.
24?
24 is correct, that's one part, and what are they used for? Primarily.
Location and navigation.
For location and navigation purposes, thank you.
Very well done, good job. Now, in this chapter, did they describe the history and development of the internet?
No.
Not at all.
Did they talk about the ARPANET?
No.
Okay, then we won't do that. So, Jeff, I think it's your turn.
Oh, great. Tom.
Greg?
What is the difference between 802.3, 802.11, and 802.16?
Hi, about 2 years each.
There you go.
Okay, these are standard, these are standards, electrical standards that, hardwired networks must meet. And the first one was the earliest, and then it was rigorized and changed, and I think up to higher speeds. The speeds is also present in. Probably the first is around 1 mega bits per second, next to maybe 10, or next to around 100, in that range there. And so they are in enhancements of the original set by electrical engineers of the physical standards that one of these wires must meet. How'd I do?
I just wanted the name.
Oh,
First, second, and third.
Yeah, 802.3 is blank. 802.11 is blank.
Right.
And 802.16 is blank.
So are my answers. Anybody?
Mike,
Ether, Wi-Fi, WiMAX.
there you go.
Awesome.
Wow.
Awesome. Okay, go to break. 3 minutes too late. So 5:33, come back 5:43. Awesome.
I have to download it.
Yeah, sorry.
What's that doing?
Busy, I'm busy.
Oh.
Some people can do 2 things at once. I'm working my way up to one. A little war there.
So you said you're gonna email the video to us?
Yeah, it's also on the Leo website. Ma'am,
Yeah, today I made 41 questions, but I never get a chance to ask.
that's because you have to successfully answer a
Yeah.
question to get to ask one.
Extra points.
So that means that the lesson you learned today is that besides making 41 questions, maybe you should just make 10 and spend the remaining amount of time getting yourself to where you can answer a question.
That's very true.
Why are you laughing?
Well, 41 questions means that you were totally in attack mode. And you were. But unfortunately, you have to earn that right. You have to earn that right. I got asked one and I didn't know it, so that's 0. Why are you laughing?
Oh, I know.
Yeah, I got your email just now.
Got it.
That was supposed to get to me at 3:27. A little late.
基本の値段というか、その
No, that's
この冬ってなったら、その正式なやつが2.5なのね。で、それに2.5だと何する字もなんかそこにどの味にするかっていう選択肢があって、1個の味だと、1個ずつの 50% だから、ミニマムで300で、なんかハードしていくと、50分中出して、今日はちょうどいい、飲んじゃった。ちょうどいいだけの感じだから、300。横から見えたりするしなかった。出してから入れてる。いや、なんかね、結構スイッチだから、盛り上がっててくれる。
Looks like there's a line forming behind you, Jeff. Don't mean to hurry you.
Hey, don't look at me, it's your internet.
Did you get the day off on YouTube?
Get the next 3 off though, so that's alright.
Oh, yeah.
We just worked extra hard yesterday and the day before, so we just sat and watched Super Bowl today and tied up a few loose ends, kicked everybody out.
Apologize for this, Jordan.
Sorry.
It's all good.
What a way to spend your break.
There you go.
He's off.
I would've just been sitting here.
Why don't I get a real not here, we're taking minutes. He's here.
I think the only person not here is Kazusa.
Kazuza, who's the only person not here? You were loaded for bear tonight, Mike, came in totally prepared. Well done. Exemplary student. Teachers often
What
make
are
good
people
students.
loading up their stuff on the
Yeah, you gonna fall in
desktop?
line?
Or we just need to put it on the desktop?
USB is fine, but some people need to retrieve it from their email or something.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I'd have it on USB.
yeah, so you can flip it over quickly. So let's practice for when we're gonna look at some of these. Oh, wow.
So, well, everybody's not bad, but
I'm here.
yes,
Georgie's here.
okay, but you may have to repeat this. So, when we get up there and we talk about it, do we start from the beginning and go through the whole thing? What are you looking for? Because it could be a pretty long process if we start.
You got 7 minutes, use it as best you want.
What I'm saying, what do you want us
I'll
to
think
fill up
we're
the
just-
entire thing?
No, I want you to remind us what your project is,
Alright,
in case we didn't think it was significant enough to remember ourselves.
alright,
And once we're tuned in, we already know what your project is, so you don't need to spend more than 10, 20 seconds on that.
alright.
Then you need to remind us where you left it last time, what still needed to be done, what problems you had. And then show that you fixed those problems, and then you want to dazzle us. You want to show us the database from the beginning, after you've shown us the problems that you fixed. Then you want to go to the switchboard, and you want to step us through it as a user would see it. And we will, wow, yes. So then we see it from the viewpoint of a user. Now, we do have remedial presentations for the next class that you decide that's where you should be.
Alright.
Often they're used, and for a good reason too. It's an awful lot to get right the first time. So yeah, I'll give you a grade on what you present. I'll grade it as you do it.
Alright, so
My
it
job.
must be impressive then, this time.
You're getting there. You're catching on now. See the anxiety go up, the energy level
Yeah.
focus, the water bottle come out.